That's a lot to live up to right there. And I do want to go on record that I think Terry won the majority of those bullfights. Right? But I first want to thank David and the ExperiPro team, and certainly AMS, for hosting this 2012 Executive Business Conference and allowing me the opportunity to speak on opportunity. So the pun there. So when David first approached me, I wasn't really sure where I was going to focus my topic because at Working Solutions, when we operate as a team, it's almost unconscious competence that we try to extract opportunity out of challenges or obstacles or issues that we have on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to talk a lot about our last 10 years, and it seems like the challenges were daily on a day-to-day basis as I'll show you where we started. So capitalizing on the opportunity from my perspective was actually taken for granted. But today, I'm hoping that I'll provide some insight and maybe some lessons of what we went through to allow you to look at what we went through from an unconscious standpoint. You can actually develop a conscious strategy to look for opportunities within your businesses. So if you walk away from anything today, I really have two themes, and I promise I'll tie them all back together, but identify the opportunity within your challenges as you look at your day-to-day business. And they seem like simple lessons and sound easy, but it really took some actual experiences at our company before we put these to use as a methodology. And I'll share some of that as we go as well. So once you identify the opportunities, take the calculated risk to put some of these into action. So first, a little background. Working Solutions was founded in 1996. We're one of the original pioneers of the at-home agent call center model. We've had over 1.5 million agents register, and as Terry mentioned, we have about 100,000 in our agent community right now. So we really try to grab the best of the best agents. We provide customer service, sales, tech support for a number of large companies. I think at one point we had 14 Fortune 100 companies that we actually did business for. In 2006, we acquired a company called Advanced Datacom, which was a facility-based call center company based in Iowa. And I'll get to that as well, the challenges. We bought them for one reason. We thought we'd move that business into the home. None of that worked, but we actually walked away with a pretty good business and a phenomenal management team. And then in 2008, right at the start of the recession, we decided to launch a technology business. So I think you'll find today my timing has been the absolute worst, as you can look at some of our endeavors, right? So I'm going to show you a newsreel. So as a pioneer, we've been very fortunate to get some credible news sources. Jeff Brady covered us in the early days, both from a print standpoint and TV. And you know, if you think of the pioneer, that's exciting, it's sexy, but I always like to remind people that a pioneer is also someone with arrows in their back. So with this, I'd like to show you a quick newsreel. You'll see how the industry evolved. And again, we helped start the industry. You'll see how that evolved, and then how the company evolved as well.
It was more profitable to send a call to Working Solutions because we know we would close it at a higher rate than we would
It's just a great way to do business. We have 100% of our people on the phones who take reservations are in their homes.
This may just be the call center of the future, a far cry from this.
It's called home shoring. It keeps jobs in the country, but out of the office.
It's kind of the emergence of this new white-collar workforce, the freelance workforce.
This is a business trend that's really exploded over the past year to where now about 20% of all customer service call center agents.
We have lots and lots of agents who are earning fantastic incomes on an annual basis.
Joyce is one of 76,000 customer service agents through Dallas-based Working Solutions.
Virtual customer service, that's an area that a lot of our viewers right now are doing.
Working Solutions is the company. The folks
folks that are working out of the home. I think that's a very interesting concept. That's actually the growing area.
We look for agents that have experience, education, and a professional work ethic.
More and more companies are going to start moving in that direction. I mean, there's a huge cost savings for them. It's great for the environment.
I could talk to any of the Working Solution agents, and they understand what it is to go to Disneyland.
The commute for this mother of two is just up the stairway and around the corner.
The first work-at-home opportunity I have ever seen that is legit.
We have technical support projects. We have some that are medical-based.
For American companies with call centers, this is a growing cost-saving trend.
They can actually send out to us in a virtual environment where we're able to scale up for them very quickly.
A company called Working Solutions. They do all sorts of outsourcing for companies.
If you're focused on the results and the solutions that you provide, it makes a great alternative to building bricks and mortar facilities.
For the last 6 years, Macklemore has been a home-based customer service representative for a company called Working Solutions.
Eric is a quality assurance coach for Working Solutions.
Companies like Working Solutions of Plano, Texas are now running virtual call centers for several businesses.
The companies that hire Working Solutions do so, I'm told, mostly because of quality rather than cost.
When you have a high-quality workforce available to you on demand that can staff for peaks, why wouldn't you use it?
The reality is, as long as the customer's happy, it really doesn't matter where that agent is.
It's just a great way to do business.
And so before I get to my business background, I wanted to share some insight into my personal background and maybe some of the lessons I learned that bias my decisions today, not only as an executive, but as a person as well. First one, my grandfather, anything can be fixed, waste nothing. And my father, control your own destiny. And so, first is my grandfather. This is actually a picture of my grandfather right there. And if you can see lightly there, Houlne's gang. So this was, he was actually born in 1901 and raised 5 boys through the recession. So lost his job, he was an electrician for the railroad, lost his job and became part of the WPA, the Work Progress Administration. Do y'all know what that is? Remember the big deal? And they put 3 million people to work rebuilding the infrastructure of the U.S. at the time. It was great for the U.S. And this is a picture when he was digging Mastodon Lake in a suburb of Chicago called Aurora, Illinois. They call it Mastodon Lake because they actually uncovered mastodon bones when they were digging this. So my grandfather had the attitude that fix anything, waste nothing. So since we're at AMS, I'll give you a movie analogy, kind of the Fast Time at Ridgemont High. Do you guys remember when Spicoli smashed the car and he looked over and he said, I can fix it. My dad's got an ultimate set of tools. And my grandfather had the ultimate set of tools and he could literally fix anything. In fact, I remember we had this wicker furniture and it was outside because it was that dilapidated. And my parents left a candle on. And the candle burned through and actually burned a hole in the wicker top and it sat there. And my grandfather came over and he didn't waste it. He took it home, showed up a couple days later, had a wood top and this leatherette. He had taken off another cushion and it was now the new wicker stool that you had. So it lasted at our house a couple more years and I actually think I took it to college. So now I wish I still had that. But, you know, having lived through the Depression, it was, you know, waste nothing and fix everything. And then the second lesson was really my dad. So I was a sophomore in college, and my dad had been at the same organization for 32 years, Barber Green. Do you guys remember the big green paving equipment and conveyor belts you used to see? You actually still see some of them today. In fact, they must have been well manufactured. They went bankrupt in '84, but he had been with the organization for 32 years. They made a bad international investment and went bankrupt. So he had to let the department go, knowing that he would be fired as well. So he let the department go, he was fired, and at 54 years old, with the family, he's looking for a job. And it was watching him go through his day-to-day activity that I decided at that point, I will never let that happen. I will never let a company control my own destiny. And so you could say an entrepreneur was born right then, because having watched him go through that wasn't going to happen to me. And that changed me from there. So a little insight to my background. I thought I was going to be a banker. I worked at several banks, went to college, banking and finance degree, get out, take a credit manager position, and they say, hey, we think you'd be great at selling this new device called a cellular phone. And I was like, you know, I know nothing. I know numbers. I know nothing about sales. I went out and bought a Tom Hopkins sales book. And I said, would you put one in my car? And they said, sure. I'm like, yeah, I'll sell those. So that got me into cellular, which got me into telecom, which led to call center. And I've been in call center now for almost 23 years. So never thought I'd be in call center, but ended up in call center. And I'm actually going to focus on the 10 years of Working Solutions, which I'll get to in a second. So I joined Working Solutions in February of 2000, which was started by my wife in 1996. So Kim started the company. It was a project management, product marketing type company. And I came with this call center angle and said, hey, we need to put the call center in the home. And she had not come from call center, but she came from a project management background, and it actually made sense. So I won't get into the challenges of that relationship of working with your wife, or actually coming into your wife's organization and then become the CEO of your wife's organization. That's a whole nother set of challenges. So maybe after a couple beers, I'll share some of that with you. And then I was an organizer, and actually I sit on the board of directors of Vision Bank of Texas, which is at the corner of Richardson and 75. Remember I talked about my timing, impeccable timing? So the absolute best time or worst time to start a small regional bank was right there, and I think we're still trying to figure that out. Is it the best time or was it the worst time? So what I want to focus on is really a decade of challenges. So I came to Working Solutions in February of 2000, right before the bubble burst. And that's what we had. So when I came, everybody had their checkbook open. Everybody said, if you come and help run Working Solutions, we'll make the investment. And so I did, and we put window dressing on, and we moved into some offices, and we hired some executives we didn't need, and we added an advisory board. And I went out and started to pitch for capital raise. And after 60 days, I said, nobody's writing anybody any checks. This bubble has burst. What are we going to do? And so when I left GE, I had a great portfolio, and we had income, and everything looked great. 2 months later, bubble burst, portfolio's gone, and there's no income for Kim or myself. And so at that time, we had to decide, what are we going to do? And we literally changed overnight. And the mantra was lemonade stand mentality, right? We're going to get back, you have lemons, sugar, water, we're going to make a slight little profit. So out went the advisory board, out went the executives we didn't need, and by the end of the year, we kind of came close to breaking even. I think we scraped by a little profit. The tough thing was, I had gone from private client banking, where you could call and you'd have money just wired into your account, to we couldn't even get an SBA loan. It would have been better if we had never started, they said. It'd be better if you're brand new, you might be able to get an SBA loan, but you can't. You have some history. And so that was a tough time. And right in the middle of that, I actually had an opportunity to go to work for a call center company. It was a great job, global support. The actual title was overall global support. And it was very well paid, paying job. And you had to do the gut check at that point. Do we stay the course because we know this is going to happen, or do I take this for a couple of years, we make it work, and then I come back to it? At the end of the day, we're going to stay the course. And so that's what we did. We stayed the course. And that was the first challenge we had to overcome, was the dot-com bubble. The second was labor arbitrage. And if everybody remembers the prediction, go back to 2002. The prediction was 70% of the world's CRM traffic will be in India by 2016. So now we're a call center company in the US. You can't compete with labor wages of $2. You know, they're selling stuff out the door for half of what we pay our agents. How do we compete in that market? And so we had to come up with a way to differentiate ourselves. And so that led to an economic preference function study of our agent community. Why do you work for us? And who are these people who work for us? So then we found out they're extremely highly educated. They have experience, education, and a desire to work. And what drives them to work was not the additional income. It was actually the flexibility of what we provide. It was the hours they work and the projects that they work. So knowing that, we decided we'll start training alternates at our expense so that we can provide flexibility to this agent community. And the byproduct, the residual product of that, was now we have a solution for customers. We can staff to the half-hour increment. So what we did for the agent community became a business benefit that helped us flourish actually through the labor arbitrage. So we would focus on transactions that were less likely to be offshore or automated, and we'd bring the skilled agent community to the table, and we'd win some business. So one other point back to the .com that I forgot to mention was the transcription business. So when we couldn't get call center business, we had a bunch of agents that wanted to work. And so what would we do? And so looking for that opportunity, we looked at the transcription business. Are you guys familiar with that? People, drug companies would run an 800 number and they'd leave automated response, name, address, city, state, zip, phone call. Somebody would actually listen and data enter that information. And the typical turnaround was 48 to 72 hours. We had agents that wanted to work, and someone said to us once, "Can you do 24 hours?" I said, "That's an easy call center. Yeah, we're 10-minute service levels, 5-minute service levels. Sure, we'll do 24-hour turnaround," which later turned into 4-hour turnaround. And we literally turned the transcription business upside down in a matter of months. And so we were able to win some business on the transcription side as well. And that later led to an opportunity with Microsoft. So that enabled us, because of the methodologies and process we had done on the transcription side, we were able to win a Microsoft business that didn't go to just a call center type company. We thought outside the box for what they were looking to do, which was review of their online editorial content. So the other thing, kind of backing up, through these 2 years, we really wanted to focus on verticals that were recession resistant, right? So I had 2 challenges as the CEO. One, we had spike type business. So now how do you manage a business with spike opportunity? And so what we did was focus on verticals that would normalize that. So healthcare and pharmaceutical, you have enrollment periods, you have travel and hospitality, you have people that go out, you have retail, you have Q4, you have tech support. So by design, we ended up with some verticals that normalized our business. And I'll come back where that bit is. I'll tell you about where that bit is here in the future. So I mentioned the Advanced Datacom acquisition, right? So here's a company losing a lot of money. We thought a lot of money. Anybody make an acquisition of a company and didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to turn out? And so we had this great idea. We needed growth. We had this great idea. We will acquire a company and we'll move that business in the home. It's so logical. The return on investment is undeniable. We will move that business into the home. So we bought the company and we approached the customers and they said, "We're not moving any business into the home. We don't like the home." And so we had to actually turn that business around. And that was a challenge because we weren't ready to take on a facility-based business. And so we ran that business for a while. And we had an opportunity, we had an opportunity to throw the towel in. And so we moved facilities at one point. We had the opportunity to throw the towel in, but we knew that business would actually survive. We started to see customers come to us saying, "Well, why aren't you selling us this home agent business? We want to put our agents in the home." And then came, I mentioned my timing again, WSINet. So the commercialization of our technology business. So WSINet is a hosted technology business where we have call center infrastructure on demand. So you can kind of lease that on a monthly basis as opposed to a giant CapEx where you have to outlay 7 figures to stand up that technology. And we launched that in Q4, Q1 of 2008. And so again, great timing, right? Recession hits, we're launching a technology business. And so back to the Advanced Datacom, Q1 of 2008 was the first quarter that we posted a profit with them. And so before the recession hit, we were projecting 59% year-over-year growth from 07 to 08. Things look great. We just bought a company, it's profitable. We just launched a technology business. We'll have that in order in 12 or 18 months. And that's not what happened. We hit a wall. So after Q1, the bubble burst. Advanced Datacom goes to sucking money, back to losing a lot of money. WSINet continued to lose more money. In fact, what we had thought early on about the technology solution we chose was it was complex and expensive, and it lived up to both that reputation almost twofold. And we had, what were we going to do? So we actually, at that point, turned into a survival organization. We didn't know it till a little later, and I'll share that with you as well. So the recession hits, and what do we do managing out of the recession, right? We had this growth booked, and we end up flat for 2008. And what's everybody say? Flat was the new up in 08. Didn't feel that great to us, right? And so it hadn't really hit us yet because we were flat. A lot of other companies were down. It wasn't until 09 that we actually dipped with 30% decline in revenue. So in the midst of all this, we're in the recession. We dipped. Now 2009, we're actually down 30%. And the DOL, the administration comes in, lights us up with the DOL investigation. So what I didn't share earlier is all of our agents in the home are independent contractors. And that's by design. We believe in this new world of work, this freelance society of these experienced, educated agents that go to work for us. And so we don't want employees. If you look at employees, it's a whole nother set of challenges, right? FMLA and absenteeism and the different benefit loads and the entitlement actually that come with that. We needed agents from this freelance pool. And the DOL said, well, you can't do that. They have to be employees. So they came, and has anybody been through a DOL investigation? Not fun, is it? 2 years, lots of legal fees later, they go away. You don't say you win those. You never win those. They just go away, and you don't owe them any money. But you know, at the end, they came and they were pretty adamant that we had to term our agents as employees. And you have the meeting with the attorneys, and they make it look easy, and by the end of it, you start shaking your head, well, maybe they should all be employees. And at the end, it's like, stop. No, this is a new world of work, and I think we're going to see more and more of this as you look at social media, as you look at this freelance society of people working for time and getting jobs done. That's what we wanted to focus on. You know, we never understood why a call center agent who'd been at a call center for 4 years, made more money than someone who'd been there 1 year, might have, you know, 40% better metrics. Why? They've been there longer. That's why you pay them more. They've been there longer. You know, we wanted this pay-for-performance model where you could attract the best talent. And we think there will be a labor shortage of that talent as they put themselves out there from a freelance perspective, right? They can start to choose their own destiny and where they work. And now with the internet, there's really no obstacles to moving that forward. So this was interesting, and I think the sketch adds 10 pounds to the picture. So if you look at the date, and this is kind of interesting because, you know, a lot of this stuff you don't realize till a year or two later. But we had a PR agency that came, and I was at a meeting, and I had 45 minutes. The Wall Street Journal was going to interview me, and they wanted to know what the subprime meltdown, right? We're still talking real estate at this time, right? Nobody knew how connected all the dots were to the mortgage and the derivatives and what that meant to the global economy. So they're talking mortgage meltdown, and I said, you know, I don't have anything to say about that. I mean, we really can't say anything about the mortgage meltdown. And our PR agency said, well, you know, have you done anything different? And then I thought about what had happened in the prior quarter. So the prior quarter, remember I talked about our verticals by design? Well, that was great in theory, but then you have some success, like on the travel side, and all of a sudden we're doing business with, you know, 4 out of the 5 largest travel e-commerce sites in the world, and you forget all the vertical by design, right? So what vertical got hit the hardest is this meltdown, the travel and hospitality. And so the quarter before this, I had actually, if anybody's in from the company, I'll say freaked out a little, where we went and we had to refocus our sales effort on healthcare and pharmaceutical, and we have to go get deregulated energy business. We have to get out of this travel business because we saw the headwind with the travel industry at that point. So that's what I talked about, and they ended up actually printing it. They liked it and did the sketch, which I always wanted. But again, I think the 10 pounds is definitely there. So what I wanted to do is kind of tie this all back to what we realized over 11, and actually what ExperiPro has really helped us do is refocus our strategy. So what we became in 2008 was a survival organization. And what we had success up to that date was a innovative strategic growth organization. And you don't realize when you're in it, and I think Terry, I'll attribute Terry to coming in and asking a lot of questions that really woke me up, that said, we've become a survival organization. We're a Me Too organization. You know what? Our competitors are multi-billion-dollar competitors. So we can't afford to be a Me Too because we were coming in second and third. Hey, we like you guys, but nobody got shot by an IBM. I'm going to go with them. And so we really had to get back to that strategy where we were an innovative strategic organization, and ExperiPro really helped us bring that out. So our focus from a sales and marketing turned to growth. So we laid out this roadmap, it's growth. We have a PR agency now, first to market, still in the lead. We did a little research. Our customers actually, and prospects out there, they knew who we were, but they hadn't seen us in a while. So first to market, still in the lead, and now go back after that blue ocean strategy. We certainly don't want to go where there's multi-billion-dollar companies. So how do we start to move to areas where we can capitalize on that agent community? If you look at the mission, it's kind of hard to see at the bottom. That mission has not changed in 15 years. We want to be the global leader of remote agents by leveraging loyal, experienced agent community and the latest in technology. And so it's not just for call center. Now it's next generation work product, because I have this agent community. I have this workforce that will go to work. So what's the next generation work product? Is it you know, like for Microsoft, is it the editorial review? Is it back office processing? Is it claims? You know, social media is an interesting topic. That one that actually I thought was on there earlier. Did we skip over one of those? The social media vows, right? So the social media is an interesting topic because I'm not on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn. You know, there's probably not many of me left not on Facebook, but I asked my son's a big gamer, and he plays Sony PlayStation. He's in there playing games. And I came in and I said, Nick, if you had an issue with your Sony PlayStation, would you call him up? And he looked at me, he's like, no. What would you do? I'd ask my friends. So his sphere of influence, right, his network. I said, all right, well, if they couldn't solve the issue, would you call up somebody then? He's like, no, I'd probably YouTube it or Google it, Dad. I'd search. And then I said, okay, well, if that didn't resolve, would you call it? He looked at me like I was an idiot. He said, no, Dad, maybe I'd email them. And so as a call center company, I freaked out. I had another one of those freak out moments and said, we have got to be in the social media space. I don't know what it is, but we have to be there. And so I went to a conference, and it was interesting. I went to this conference, and they had some of the largest brands in the world, AT&T and GoDaddy and GM and Porsche and all these companies. And I expected to be wowed with what they were doing. And you know what they were doing? They had a couple young kids in a room. They shoved pizza and Mountain Dew under the door, and they tweeted. I'm like, well, they're no better off than we are. And so that led to us building a product where we would actually monitor and measure the performance of somebody's brand on social media, and now we can make it actionable by serving that up to our agents the same way you serve up a phone call, an email, a chat. And so take those social media mentions and make them actionable. And what was interesting is all of those companies drove that out of the marketing department or the public relations department. None were out of the call center. In fact, I said, well, what about the call center? No, not in the call center. The call center is broken. We don't want those transactions there. But if you look at your customer communication mandates of those organizations, that's where the domain knowledge is on how to handle those customers, how to engage with those customers. So that was the social media story as well. We lost a key executive at INET, so somebody started INET, actually took a president and COO position. We had to overcome that loss. That was just last year. And then the latest fun in games is the patent troll. So anybody been in a patent troll lawsuit? Another fun one. So I was told that when the attorneys got out of the ambulance chasing business, they became patent trolls. So in 2005, the patent office, remember I said we started in 96 and we were doing call center in 98, 2000. The patent office awards a patent on virtual call center to a company in Nevada. It's not even in the business, 2005. So we have prior art, but the sad thing about patent troll, from our perspective, right, as a defendant, is the onus is on us for all discovery. And so the estimate to do away with the patent troll, even though we have prior art, we've been doing this for 5 years before it was issued, has been estimated at $200,000 or $300,000 in legal fees just to make it go away. So there's always fun. So here I am, right? It's in my DNA. I'm already looking to, how do we benefit from that patent troll lawsuit? And I met with an attorney in Nevada, right? So me always looking for the opportunity in the carnage. How do we, if we can invalidate that patent, then we'll be one of the, because we are one of a half dozen companies that can invalidate that patent, then maybe we should meet with them, they'll leave us alone, and that'll be value. That'll be franchise value later in the future. And our attorney's like, just wait, we have to win this first. But always looking for opportunity. Oh, you told me not to hit that button. All right. So anyway, I did want to tie it back, right? So again, look for opportunity. It's out there, right? There is opportunity among the challenges, the setbacks. You can always find something to do different that will help your business. Identify those, and once you do, take some calculated risks to achieve the results or outcomes that you desire. And if you can do that, make sure you bring the people in who understand both. Because if you do, you can withstand any of these challenges, right? The dot-com bubble burst, the recession, any of those things, you can actually overcome those things, right? So as hard as it's been, over the last 10 years, I'll tell you we won't change a thing because it's in our DNA. And if you look at it, the attributes of what my grandfather taught me is in the DNA of our company, right? Waste nothing, and anything can be fixed. So thanks for having me up here to talk, and I wish you great success with all your businesses in 2012.